What if every experience, every hardship, every obstacle was given to you, not to break you, but to mold you and strengthen you? What if the center of your suffering was actually the key to ultimate health? And what if your own pain was meant to be the catalyst for your greatest purpose? Welcome to Buddha Belly Life, empowering purpose, mind to microbiome. Hey guys, welcome to session 2 of the Buddha Belly Life podcast, a series all on creating your dream wellness business. And I'm Coach Britt, and today we are going to talk about building your business machine. This is probably one of the most interesting topics that I talk about, that people like to hear about, because it's something that a lot of people don't know they have. You probably have one. You just don't know you have it, and you probably don't exactly know what it looks like. It might be janky in the backyard, and we need to clean that thing up. So if you already have a business, if you have a side hustle, if you have a gig, if you have ever gotten yourself a client or sold a product, then you have a machine. It might just need a lot of work, and chances are it does. So today we're going to talk about that. Your business machine is what sells. It's what takes somebody from, hey, I see you, to, hey, I want what you have. Okay. Whether it's your service, whether it's your product, whether it's both, whatever it is. Okay. One of the things we want to talk about to start today, though, is your product home. Now, there's a difference in your product home is going to be different depending on what kind of business you have. So if you have a brick and mortar business, then your product home is in your brick and mortar store. Your product home, or at least dually, if you sell online too, if you sell actual product, but if you sell a service, let's say you sell an in-person service, then your product resides in your business, in your brick and mortar business. If you sell a digital product, then your product home is going to be your website. And if you have a brick and mortar, then your website probably isn't your product home. It's a key component of your nurturing process, of your marketing strategy, of your funnel system. It's a legitimacy area. I can't tell you the importance of having a landing page or some kind of website or landing page where people can vet you, because that's what they do now. There's businesses that can get away with it, but you will be hard pressed to find a successful business that does not have a web page or a landing page of some sort. And I'll give you a few tips. You can do this really simply. If you don't have one, I tell all the coaches this: get a landing page, get something you can go on Wix. You can use Squarespace. You can use all kinds of DIY platforms now to make you a landing page, but it's great to have it and hook up your own URL. Please do not use the business URLs. You're not going to want to do that. Just use your own URL, get your own website. And so that people can go to you. It's way more legitimate that way, and they can find your information. Okay. So we are going to, in session 4, in the last session, we are going to talk more about marketing. We're going to talk about social media, and the new era of marketing, and how some of social media old ways of advertising may be dead. My opinion on that, what we're doing now for the school, and how you can maybe think about utilizing this. So that's going to be in session 4. So for right now, we're going to talk about your business machine. So like I said, selling can only be done when there is a process. And I promise you, you have a process. I didn't even realize I had a machine. It took me a couple years actually to realize that I actually had a business machine. I had a process I was doing. I just wasn't doing it consistently, and it wasn't conscious. It wasn't followed consistently. So if it wasn't laid out and I didn't understand it, then it wasn't always followed consistently. It wasn't maximized to its greatest potential. It wasn't done efficiently. It wasn't able to be tweaked. And that is the most important. Even if you have a janky machine, a machine is necessary, or else you cannot change it and tweak it in order to get better. You tweak it and you change the gauges to produce more, to get to a successful place. If you don't have that, you don't know how to alter it. You don't know how to read your data. You don't know how to see where you're succeeding and where you're not. So your business machine is so, so important. Do you have a desire for fulfillment? Does helping people tap into their own health mentally, emotionally, and physically fire you up? Do you believe in the impact of the gut microbiome on overall wellness? You may be an HWCA coach. For more info on our cutting-edge health coach trainings, visit hwcacoach.com. So your selling needs to be done with a process. Like I said, you need a business machine. Even a janky machine can be read for data. It can be tweaked for efficiency, and it can be utilized to grow and expand your business and do better and service your clients better and get more sales and get more deals and connect with more clients and do all the things that you wanted to do. So the components of a sales machine is your touch, entice, direct, prompt, close, and keep. So it's 6 processes there. That's the most basic way I can lay it out for you. So touch is how people are seeing you. How are they coming across you? How do they get to know you? Are you reaching out and connecting with them directly, personally? Is it an ad? Is it a video? Is it a piece of content that you've created that's doing it for you? Is it, what are you doing? Is it some kind of paid advertising? Is it your SEO is great? How are people coming across you when they see you for the first time, or they see you to a point where they're engaged, or they're maybe interested, where something clicks for them? So that's your touch. Now entice is where they see you and they're interested. So at what point do they become interested? This is step 2, where they're like, now maybe they start snooping some of your information. They go through a website, or they do something. So if they're interested, the next step is to direct. So this is to a website, a funnel process, or something, your email list or whatever it is. You're going to have a process that you put people through. Everything is essentially a funneling system. It doesn't have to be your old school, or your like traditional kind of cheesy funnels, buy now and do this and this prompt and add this and all that stuff. If you've ever done a funnel, I think you know the hell that is to create, one of those traditionally. They can work great, but they're not, I will say from personal experience, they are not the funnest to create. I think mine took me like 3 months, but I learned a lot, and I never used it after that. But anyway, you are a funneling process. Everything you do is a funnel to some degree. And so, at what point? So you're directing them to something, and then that's where hopefully they take action. Okay. So you're direct, and that's a prompt. A prompt is, hey, a call. It is a sales page. If you have a digital product and you don't talk to people, straight up, it's an invite into your brick and mortar business for, a class, or with a coupon if you've got a product, depending on what kind of business you have. Now that is the enticement. That is where we are bringing, that's the prompt of action. Like, hey, let's get you here. Okay. Then you have the close, and that's when you sell something. That's when you close a call. That is when you sell your product. That is when you sell your services or your packages. That is your close. And then your keep. Now that they're there, where do you keep them? Maybe they declined. Where do you keep them? At what process? It's good not to just let people go, but maybe you're nurturing them through you put them in a special email list, because they're not interested right now. Maybe you put them, if you're all digital, maybe you have a separate funneling system that's checking in later. Maybe you're directly contacting people, and so you have a check back system that you're following with them. But how do you keep your people? Okay. The importance of the machine, you guys, is because this is where most people fall short. This is what makes them think that they're going to fail at business. And it's probably one of the most frustrating things for me as a coach and as somebody who has built something from absolutely nothing, is because the day that clicked, or at the time when that clicked, I realized that anybody can do this. They just have to stay the course, and they have to get organized and figure out their process. You're always doing a process. I remember when I trained at Business Mastery with Tony Robbins, they talked about that a bit. Like, you are doing stuff. You got to go back and look at what you've been doing. Chances are you've been doing some repetitious things. So write it down, even if it's not been effective. Write down what you have been doing, because you can't correct what you've been doing wrong when you're not conscious of what you've been doing in the first place. So that is your machine. Even if it's been digging you holes and it's not been getting you somewhere, you still need to know what it looks like. You need to know what a bad machine looks like before you can make it a good one. That's how we evaluate it, okay? And a good machine should be evaluated on about a monthly basis. We go back through it and we say, all right, this isn't converting well. What's up right here? You can look for the breaks in the machine. that's one of the coolest things that I saw when I just kind of figured this out, was that I was able to go in there and look at where the disconnect was happening, where we were losing people. And I still can do that. So instead, what people do, if you don't know your machine, this is one of the pitfalls that can happen. If you don't know your machine, or you don't have a machine, you're not conscious of your machine, then you may forego some of the processes that are actually working well for you. So you might say, hey, let's say you've got a multi-level marketing business. Okay, I can use that one. We have a ton of students in different multi-level marketing companies. They just happen to like to get certified because health and wellness gets them the bug to have their own business. And so does that form of marketing. So let's say you have an MLM business, a multi-level marketing business, and you are, a lot of those guys, their strategy is to direct outreach, and then invite. They have a process. They're taught a very simple process. But let's say they're doing this process and they're not seeing a return on the investment of time and resources that they're using. Then what often happens, if they're not aware that they have a machine, that they're not aware that they have a process, is that they can scrap the whole thing and start building a whole new machine when all they needed to do was tweak a piece of it and to see a huge change. Sometimes you can see a fourfold growth by tweaking just a piece of your machine. I've seen that before in my own businesses. And so it's important to really go through what you already have, or else we just keep trying new things and try this and that. And we throw many ads and we do all this stuff to try and make a difference. And we're not conscious enough in the product we already have, in the systems we're already utilizing, and how we're already doing things to really maximize its greatest potential. So I will tell you, write down your machine. The basic place to start is touch, entice, direct, prompt, close, and keep. Okay. How are people seeing you? How are you enticing them to inquire? How are you directing them if they show interest? Where are you directing them? How are you prompting them after you direct them? What is your prompt now? Where are you selling? This is the selling point here, the prompt to sell. And then how are you closing that process? And what are you doing with them when they are done? Either when you've sold, or they have said they're disinterested or whatever. Where are you, what are you doing with them at that point? That's your key point. Okay. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this portion of the class all about building the machine that is your business. Please don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, and we will see you next week as we talk more about the importance of how we service the process, because your servicing will sell. And I'll explain that later. Thank you for joining, you guys. Thank you for joining us for another empowering episode of Buddha Belly Life. For more information on gut health and mindset resources, visit buddhabellylife.com. And remember, heal yourself and then empower others to do the same.